this computer, yeah. So, hey, welcome to week 4. Yeah, week 4. It's the join week. So we're going to talk about joins. I'm going to go over what the lesson is, like I did last week. We're going to talk about the different things. I'll give you the secret word for this week, and we won't be doing any database design this week. We'll do it next week, because I had this. The interesting thing about the reverse engineering exercise in week 2 is it gives me a lot of ideas on what kind of database to show you guys how to build. And someone used a recipe website as a their reverse engineer, and it kind of inspired, not the greatest word, but it intrigued me enough to try to make a recipe database. I've never done that before. So I didn't get as far as I wanted to do it this week. So next week I'm going to go into the building of an ERD and going through the steps with you on that. So I just want to build it myself first and then go through with you guys. So this week is the join week, and this week is when I start doing Venn diagrams. So let me share my screen. No, I want to, there we are. Share this one first. Okay, so well, before I begin this, any questions on last week's assignments? Any questions on last week's quizzes? I know a number of people texted me, emailed me about the quiz questions. Please continue doing that. I finally got the power to change the quizzes myself permanently. So any questions you see are bad, please let me know so I can fix them for time and all eternity and not to worry about them anymore. So that's the first part. The second part is what was the second part? This is the first part. I don't remember what I was gonna say. So this came up with a couple people last week. And everyone here is I'm sure understands this. There's some people who may or may not be watching this. Will help them. It is implied in the exercises that you use the Sakilla database. It's never explicit specifically stated that you use the Sakilla database, but it is implied that you do. So please make sure that you, when you run your queries and test your stuff out, that you're using the Sakilla database for the exercises. There were actually a couple of people who had that question for me, that it had to be used. So they were creating their own tables and writing their own queries, which was awesome, but reinventing the wheels and unnecessary. Okay, but any questions? Any other questions, comments, concerns about week 3, week 2, week 1? Everyone's doing good. All right. So this week we talk about joins, and the best way to explain joins I have found is to talk about Venn diagrams from back in the day. So we all remember Venn diagrams and how they looked, and this is still red. I don't want red, I want blue. Give me blue. Okay, there we are, blue. So we all remember Venn diagrams like this, and I don't think this has a paint function, but that's okay. So here we had the right side, and here we have the left side, and here we have the middle, right? So when we talk about, if you remember these from math class in 2nd or 3rd grade and science later, the right side holds all the information on the right side and this part of what's on the left side. The left side holds all the parts that's in the left side plus everything that's in this part of the right side. This holds the commonality between the two different sets. Does this look familiar to everybody? Okay. This is what joins are about. This is all that joins are about, because we've got inner joins. We've got left outer and right outer. Okay. So an inner join is when you take two tables and return the values that are in this middle part here. Okay, that's what an inner join does. A left join returns everything that's on the left side of the join, and only the stuff that's on the right side that's in the middle, that's shared between the two of them. A right join returns everything that's in the right table and only the things that are contained in the middle of that, okay? Today, we're going to explicitly be talking about inner joins and cross joins. I'm going to talk about cross joins. Cross joins are weird. I'm not a fan of cross joins. I've been doing this a long time. I have yet to find an actual use for a cross join, also known as a Cartesian join. I'll demonstrate one of those. I finally found a great example on how to show how Cartesian joins or cross joins work. Then we'll show you some inner joins, and then we'll call it a night. So let's go here to the assignments here. Okay, so this week, get this out of my way. In our preparation and reading, we're talking about how to use cross joins to produce Cartesian projects, how to use inner joins to produce a set of matches based on one or more columns, using subqueries as a table, and just basically how to use inner joins to do results. We're in chapter 5 of the book. Chapter 5 of the book. These two video tutorials are going to help you just as much as the chapter will, plus the PowerPoint slides. All right. The exercises are going to all be about joins. And these are interesting ones because they just want you to fill in the blanks. So just give me what that value would be.
Brother
and what that.
Stevik,
Yeah.
you're still sharing the white screen,
Oh,
so we
sorry.
don't see your screen.
Oh, thank you for that. I forgot because I need to change my share. I would have kept going the entire time. Let me back up here. All right, let me change it to that. Share. Is that better?
Yes.
Thanks, Sam. All right. So again, here we've got we're going to talk about cross joins and how to get a Cartesian project, and just about a bunch about inner joins. There are the PowerPoint slides and these two video tutorials. Please watch those. They're very important. They're very good. And then kind of skim the chapter, look at the code examples. The best way to understand joins is just write them. In your exercises this week, it's all about doing joins. This first question here, for example, is just asking you to fill in the blanks to see what goes there and what goes there, okay? And then a couple of these, write a query that returns the title of every film which an actor with the first name John appeared. Again, these are required joins, and we're gonna do a couple of examples of that in a minute here. Your quiz, same thing. It's all about joins. The paper this week, if you are not doing the final project, if you're doing the final project, your paper is tell me how things are going. At this point in time, you should be zeroing in on what you want the database to be about. Between this week and next week, that's where you should be. After next week, you've got to there we are. Okay. After week 5, you should be in the process of creating your ERD. So that's why next week I'm going to be focusing on how to create an ERD. Okay, so there's all that. Any questions on the week 4 activities that are required of you? Cool. Remember, the secret answer to this week's quiz is in last week's video assignment. So I think everyone was here last week, so you all know that the word is Mistborn. So, and let's do this week. This week we'll do Pikachu. I was having a long conversation about Pokemon the other day, and you'd be surprised how many people chose Pokemon this time around for their reverse engineer. I didn't realize there were that many Pokemon websites out there. Around week 5 or 6, I actually show you guys a Pokemon database I developed. That is there's a question coming up. Why would you join a table to itself? And we'll explain. That's a what's the word? Foreshadowing of things to come. But But yeah, okay, so they're supposed to be back up here. Okay. Let's look at this week's code examples. This is what I want. Okay. So a cross join. A cross join is also known as a Cartesian join. So I went ahead and created these quick tables. I created a table called meals with one value called meal name, a table called drinks with one value called drink names, and then I put orange juice, tea, and coffee into drinks, and omelet, fried egg, and sausage into meals. So I run these separately. You get what you'd think. You get omelet, fried egg, and sausage into meals, and you get drink, tea, orange drink, tea, and coffee there. If I run this as a cross join, I'll just show you the results. It's easier to explain. When you're talking about Cartesian results, you're talking about each one of these will link up with each other. So here we go, omelet, orange juice, fried egg, orange juice, sausage, orange juice, omelet tea, fried egg tea, sausage tea, omelet coffee, fried egg coffee, sausage coffee. That's what cross joins do. They are Cartesian joins. So every value of column 1 will be matched up with every value in column 2. Does that make sense?
Yes, I have a quick question.
Sure.
Can you like make it so that because there's duplicate values, right? In that table, because
Sausage, orange juice.
yeah, basically they're just
So-
swapping places, right?
But do you see it? Do you see a duplicate for? So you got
No,
omelet
I
orange.
mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna, I think maybe not actually. I may be wrong. Can you go down a bit?
So when you're so here's what you're thinking. So I'm not sure if you're confusing this with with unions, which we're going to talk about next week. If we use the
Okay, so
command,
there's no okay, there's
there's
no
no
duplicate value. All right, cool.
with cross joins, you get new duplicates. With the union command, you get duplicates, which we'll talk about next week. We're talking about unions this week. Okay, but yeah, so it's omelet, orange juice, omelet tea, omelet coffee. There's no duplicates anywhere. So every value that's here will get paired up with every value that's here one time. And it doesn't duplicate itself. If I reversed it, it would, if I reversed it, would just be, you'd have omelet, 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 tea, whatever it's also, but then Friday, whatever it is. But yeah, so that's the important thing. Cross joins are Cartesian. They pair up each of these one time.
Can you self cross join? Does it work?
To join to itself,
Yeah.
I don't know. It might cause everything. We'll try and see what happens. I'm not a big fan of cross joins because I don't see a lot of use in them, but let's see what happens. It goes. It did not like that.
Oh, you need unique aliases for the table names.
What did I do wrong?
You're missing unique aliases for the table names.
Ah, thank you. Yes, thank you. By the way, so this was a happy accident. So you'll see the error that came up down here. The good thing about MySQL for the most part is it gives you pretty accurate errors to what's wrong. So here, not unique table alias. So that's what happened. So let's do this here. Let's see what results we get. Oh, there we are. Yeah, so you can do it. Omelet, fried egg omelet, sausage omelet, egg, fried egg. So here we're getting duplicates though. Here we're getting duplicates because that's a duplicate of that.
And if you do, yeah, like that would make sense that you get.
Yeah, so because you're cross joining
Yeah.
itself, yeah. So I mean, it's a good party trick. I think there's some questions on the quiz about it. That's what a cross join is. It's a Cartesian join. All right. So now inner joining stuff. So here I have a query that's going to query the film table, the film actor table, and the actor table. So what I want to do is I want to create a query that gets me the first and last name of an actor, the title of the movie they're in, and the year it came out. So in order to do that, I've got to join 3 tables, okay? Because if I look at the actors table, I see there's actor ID, film ID, first name, last name, update. If I look at the film ID, film table, I've got film ID, title, description, release year, language ID, original language ID, rental duration, rental rate, blah, blah, blah. Nowhere in here do I have actor ID in here, and nowhere in here do I have film ID. So these two tables do not immediately connect to each other. This is because one actor can be in many films, and one film contains many actors. So these two tables have a many-to-many relationship, and you cannot join two tables that have a many-to-many relationship directly. You've got to use what I call as a joining table or a connection table or a bridge table. I've got a table called film actor. In there is actor ID and film ID. So in here, the unique key is these two put together. So the primary key in this table are those two columns put together because they will never duplicate. The actor ID will duplicate because one actor is in many films. The film ID will duplicate because one film has many actors, but only one actor of a specific name can be in a film. Everyone following me? Everyone good? All right. So my join goes selecting first name, last name, film title, and release year from film. I'm interjoining film actor to film on the film ID column. And you notice I have these aliases here. Okay. You don't use the word as here because it won't work. So just film F, film actor FA, and actor is A. So select film from film actor on the film ID column, which they both have. And then I'm also joining it. I'm joining actor on the actor ID column that's logged in both of them. So this is going to show me everything where the film ID and the actor ID are in the center of those two circles and they match. And I do this and I get my results, and I ordered them by year, by title rather. So here's my, for Academy Dinosaur, here's my Ace Goldfinger, so on and so forth. And I've got, oh, there's only 1 year. Oh, that's fine. I thought there were multiple years. Okay, everyone got that one. Okay. Next one. One of the things was to use a subquery in place of a table name. So here, I'm going to change this to something a little more interesting. So this is the same query that we saw before that's here, right? The only difference is I changed the film table to this query. So instead of saying film table, I'm selecting the film ID, title, release year from film, where title is like D. So any film that starts with the letter D, okay, that's what this is going to use, right? So all that's happening is I've changed out a table for a subquery. And when I run this, it's going to run exactly the same way. It's going to give me results, but it's only going to give me those movies that start with the letter D. Everyone still with me? All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another table to this join list here. So here I've got first name, last name, title, release year, and now I want to know what language the movie was in. So when I look at the film table, I see that there is a language column or language ID column. And down here, I've got a language table with a language ID column. One film can only be in one language, and one language can have many films. So it's a one-to-many relationship. So I can directly link these tables together. So I have language ID in the film table, right? Oh, okay. So here, it's like first name, last name, title, release year, and language name from film. Interjoining film actor, interjoining actor, and then here I'm interjoining language on the language ID column found both in the film table and the language table. And when I run that, I get my results. Everyone good? Right, Jacob, Nathan, you guys doing good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The last one, this is a show off query. What I want to do is I want to find people who have overdue movies that haven't been returned yet. So here, let's look at my structure. I'm returning from the rental table and I'm joining to the customer table on the customer ID. I'm joining that to the address table on the customer address because I want the customer's address. The inventory table to see what movie was rented by them. The film table to see what film it was. And then where the return date is null, which means it hasn't been returned yet. And where the rental date plus the interval of the rental duration, right, is less than the current date. So that means is I forget what the interval command does, but basically when this comes up, it's going to tell me whether or not this is less than the current date, which means it's overdue. And we're going to order by title. So this is a super complicated one. Everyone following that one? So when I run this, it gives me customer's last name and first name. It gives me their phone number and the title of the film. And I can always add, like, when was it rented? I'm going to do this on purpose here. So notice that last name, first name, address, phone number, title all have qualifiers as to what table they come out of. I don't have one for rental date, and it's still going to work.
I,
To the right?
hey Don, I'm surprised that, usually at the end of the order, it has that name right next to the title. I don't see that here.
The semicolon?
Yeah, the semicolon.
Okay, so the semicolon is basically saying this is the end of the batch.
Here.
Oh,
Since this was the last query, I have
Is that
nothing after
house?
this. I don't have to. So if I take the semicolon away from here, notice how that gets a little error, a little squiggly, right?
I see.
That signals the end of the end of the line, the end of the coding line.
So since this is the last,
Oh my
since this is the last one, and then nothing else, it could still work.
Exactly. So if I take these away, right? This will still work if I highlight it and run it by itself. If I try to run these two together, it would not work. Okay. So the semicolon means I can run these two at the same time.
Yeah, I understand the
Yep.
semicolon. It's just,
Mhm.
I was just confused at that last,
Yep. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's because it was the last one in the batch and I didn't put it there. So yeah, so here now I've got the rental date. Okay. So any questions on this? So joins can get away from you pretty quickly. If you start joining, if you do like here, I'm joining 2, 3, 4, 5 tables. And needless to say, this can get away from you pretty quickly. So you've got to make sure you're following this right. So like I said, this week is all about inner joins. This is the code and the columns. And at this point in time, I would say let's design a database, but I need to put a pin in it tonight because I got stuff I got to take care of for my other job tomorrow, and I've got some church stuff I got to take care of tonight as well. But I want to make sure that you guys have a good grasp on how the inner joins work.
Brother Stoic, before you go, I just have a
Sure.
quick question from the slides.
Yep.
In the slides on page, I think it's 9, there's a join with a, I think, or maybe 8, yeah, 8, so sorry. There's a join with the subquery, and like it didn't really make sense to me. So I just wanted to
Sure, let's see, what is it?
about it. Yeah.
Page.
I think it's 8 or 9. Or probably 9 then, yeah. So
This one
it's it's this one. It's the part where no, it's the one above.
This one here?
Yeah, this one
Yeah.
right here. The one where it says inner join address A, and then you have the subquery there for address, and that's what I don't like. I don't really understand why do you have the address A followed by the subquery, and there's nothing in between.
Oh, so. What is this one?
So I wonder if something was not erased from it.
Let's take a look at this. Let me bring this over into here. It's a good find. I might have to fix this. I don't think this is right. Okay, let's see what they were thinking of here. Oh, okay.
Like based on your previous example of the subquery, I think address A should not be there.
Yeah, this should not, yeah, that is
Like
correct.
on line 60, yeah.
Yeah, that should not be, that's what it should look like. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright,
And
makes more
then,
sense now.
and then this shouldn't be there either. Cause this is the subquery where they want. And to what that's for, because this was there, that was gonna cause it to fail because it wasn't allowed this where clause to go, cause that's saying it was finished. So this is what that's supposed to look like there.
Okay.
So. Good call, and anyone watching this at home after the fact will know what's going on. But yeah, that's a good catch. Someone messed with these slides, so I gotta go back and fix them. And it still doesn't want to work. It didn't like the error. What's the error that I got here? Unknown column city and customer CT city from hang on a second. CT.
It's the one from line 58.
Yeah,
I
it's here.
believe.
It's got it's right here. Yeah, it's this. It's got the wrong alias.
Yep.
There we are. Man, someone really messed with this one. There you are. There you go. So that fixes
Okay,
it for
but
you.
it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all right, cool.
Good
Thank you.
good catch on that. No problem. Good catch. Good catch. Hey, we're actually about to wind down for the night. We just had a good catch on the slides for oh, that's the wrong thing. We had a good catch for the slides for this week. These new chats makes sense of it. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. So this week, again, your exercises are all about inner joins and things along those lines. Next week, it's going to be unions. And I think next week we start talking about left and right joins. And next week, I'm going to dedicate about 30 minutes to just designing a database. And it's going to be a database on recipes. So we'll do that next week. And that's because starting in week 6, you should be starting to design your ERD if you're going to do the final project. Alrighty. So are there any other questions about this week, last week? Steven, you came here late, so any questions you have about last week's assignments or this week's assignments?
No, I'll just be rewatching this though.
Yeah, that's why I put them there. That's and by the way, I don't know if you mentioned this, but when you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see I've got about 5 or 6 different semesters of these lessons. So if for some reason this week doesn't get it, you can drill back and watch one of the previous weeks, previous semesters, and see if it makes any more sense there. But I gotta tell you, this whole secret word thing has really made people watch the videos, so that's working well. Kind of conscripted learning, so that's cool. I'm good with that. And also I haven't gotten into usual questions I normally do this week about like what the final project is, so. It's a good semester so far. Here in week 4. All right. Again, I gotta drop off early today. If there are no other questions, I'm gonna go ahead and kill it here. And then next week we might run a little long. Just to be forewarned. So next week we may run closer to like 10:30, 10:45. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week. Have a good week.
Thank you.